Day approaches, the community gathers to honor the legacy of the Tuskegee Airmen with local ties. And we have rain chances returning tonight through the rest of your Memorial Day weekend.
Plus, 38 people from 17 countries took the oath of citizenship at the George Washington Carver National Monument.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Lindsay Gaffney.
And it's the start of Memorial Day weekend this Friday morning. And it's going to be a little bit rainy.
I know. I'm here to bring bad news. Unfortunately, it is going to be a really rainy weekend. We've got a lot of flooding risks through the weekend, plus severe threats. That starts tonight. So you can see how rain really starts to spike afternoon today, closer to about 1 to 2 p.m. Now, all that rain isn't widespread yet through this morning. Now, we do have a low tornado threat, higher risk for hail and high winds, large hail, high wind threat through mostly our southwestern counties. And then on top of that, we also have our flooding threat, and that's going to be consistent across the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and into Sunday. Now, our flood watch extends all the way until Monday at 7 p.m. for most of our counties, except for a few out in our Kansas counties. Now, we don't have a lot going on through this morning. Couple of these isolated rain chances want to push in. Now, it may not make it to the surface. Our big threat for storms is going to be later on today. Nothing's even popping up just yet. We are going to see storms start to roll in. Now, again, might have some isolated showers through the morning hours, but a lot of this won't make it to the surface. And then we're going to have a little bit of a lull through the midday hours. A couple storms start to push in again after noon. So there goes some isolated storms pushing in through our central southern counties through the early afternoon and mid-afternoon. Now our higher threat for severe weather comes in after about 8-9 p.m. Now through this evening, those storms last until about 5 to 6 in the morning on Saturday, and the stronger part of the storm is going to be after about 2 a.m. So we do have our risk for severe weather today and tomorrow, again, Saturday night into Sunday morning, and then our severe threat really drops off on Sunday, but that threat for flooding continues all the way through Monday. You can see most of us seeing about an inch of rain at the minimum, but further south and southeast we go. Could see up to 6.5 inches of rainfall. So we're definitely going to see a major flooding risk through the weekend, flash flooding and just flooding across the board. But then a couple of those storms could be pretty strong to low grade severe. But I'm going to have all those details coming up.
All right, Lindsay, thanks. Well, with Memorial Day around the corner, we remember the men and women who served our country. The recent discovery of a World War II veteran and former Tuskegee Airman buried in Joplin brought multiple groups together to honor Dr. Harold E. Brazil yesterday evening. KOAM's Anthony Saviello was at the ceremony and has more.
One final salute as a flag is presented in honor of Tuskegee Airman Dr. Harold E. Brazil.
It will eventually go to the family, but we will hold it in honorarium for him until we can get that done. So we are just excited and pleased of the recognition that was bestowed on him today.
A ceremony bringing together those who may not have known Dr. Brazil personally, but who want to honor him and the legacy he left behind.
And that was amazing, especially our veterans. That, you know, while Memorial Day is always, you know, a sober thing, is also exciting to see them that they still, you know, have the love for our country as they served, and they should get their pat on the back while we see them too. So.
The former alumni of Joplin's Lincoln High School rests next to his brother, Paris, and only a few feet away from his mother, Lavina, and father, Paul. There is still more to learn about Dr. Brazil.
When you start doing this kind of research, you start trying to look into someone's life and you have documents, and then there's some gaps in documents and you can't find a piece that you're really searching for. You kind of have to reach out into the community. There's a lot of research yet to do, and there are a lot of people in the community who have stories about Harold Brazil that we'd love to hear and be able to help preserve those for future generations.
Brazil is one of only 9 Tuskegee Airmen from the state of Missouri. He remains a soldier gone, but not forgotten. In Joplin, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
Well, the Jasper County Ceremony Preservation Society plans to hold a ceremony for a Revolutionary War soldier next year. And 38 people celebrated becoming U.S. citizens yesterday in a ceremony at the George Washington Carver National Monument. The new citizens hail from 17 different countries, including Mexico, the Philippines, and Ukraine. Choir students from Thomas Jefferson Independent Day School and the ROTC students from Joplin helped with the ceremony. Following the swearing in, local organizations like the League of Women Voters helped attendees register to vote so they can soon put their citizenship to use. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. A former firefighter is formally charged with involuntary manslaughter. A Jasper County judge issued an arrest warrant for this man, Brant Cullen, on the charge of involuntary manslaughter. The charge stems from an October 19th incident in Carl Junction, Missouri. According to court documents, Cullen recklessly caused the death of firefighter Tucker Berry by operating a golf cart at excessive speeds and swerving after consuming alcohol. Berry fell while standing on the back of the golf cart. Cullen turned himself in at the Jasper County Detention Center yesterday and was booked on the charge. Authorities released Cullen on bond. Now, this is a developing story, and you can find additional details on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, the city of Baxter Springs has appointed a new police chief just 4 months after their most recent chief took office. Rick Comer was appointed to the position by the city on Tuesday. Jimmy Hamilton was named chief of police in January, officially replacing now Cherokee County Sheriff Brian Henderson. But now the city says Hamilton was voluntarily stepped down from the position. Now he is now served as assistant chief. Comer is now serving as chief, previously working as a school resource officer for the department. The city of Baxter Springs has posted a job listing for the police chief position. Officials say it's a procedure and Comer will apply like everyone else. Missouri American Water says bills for its customers will go up starting this month. The Missouri Public Service Commission approved a rate settlement for the utility provider's water and wastewater services. The company says the increase seeks to recover about $1.1 billion on system improvements. Now, for an average metered residential water customer, the bill will go up about $9 per month. For flat rate residential customers, it will go up about $12 per month. Now, the new rates will take effect on May 28th. And as weather continues to warm, the Missouri Public Service Commission wants to remind consumers that Missouri's hot weather law will soon take effect. The law protects all residential customers from having their electric or natural gas service disconnected due to non-payment when those utilities are used as a source of cooling during temperatures above 95 degrees or a heat index above 105. Now, both Arkansas and Oklahoma have similar laws. Kansas does not have this law in place. For more information, head over to KOAMnewsnow.com. The U.S. Supreme Court split evenly yesterday in a high-profile challenge over the nation's first religious charter school. The High Court leaves in place a ruling from Oklahoma's top court that found the proposed Catholic school unconstitutional. The 4-4 split was made possible because conservative judge Amy Coney Barrett recused herself. Now, she had ties to attorneys who represent the St. Isidore Seville Catholic virtual school. Evenly split decisions do not set precedent. Now, this will also allow religious groups involved in the case to bring another case. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Officials are now considering the death penalty after 2 Israeli embassy employees were killed in Washington, D.C. And we're tracking rain chances for today. We'll have what to expect with Lindsay Gaffney in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch this morning, authorities are considering the death penalty for the suspect accused of murdering 2 young Israeli embassy employees in Washington on Wednesday. Overnight, those who knew the couple and others touched by the senseless killings held vigils to honor 2 young lives cut down in their prime. Local D.C. and federal officials say there is no place for hate in this country, and they are committed to getting justice for the victims. Naomi Ruckham has more from New York.
Outside of the White House, mourners gathered to honor 30-year-old Yaron Lashinsky and 26-year-old Sarah Lynn Milgram, 2 Israeli embassy staffers who were shot and killed Wednesday night in Washington. Police say the couple was targeted as they left an event at the Capitol Jewish Museum.
Anything that affects one Jew in the city affects all of us.
A vigil was also held in Kansas, where Milgram grew up.
Sarah was a real people's person. She enjoyed people. There's a void in the world right now because a beautiful smile is no longer with us.
The suspected shooter, Elias Rodriguez from Chicago, was arrested at the museum and is now being held in a D.C. jail. He faces 5 counts, including first-degree murder and murder of foreign officials. Federal agents searched his Chicago apartment yesterday. Interim U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro says he's also being investigated for hate crime.
Anti-Semitism will not be tolerated, especially in the nation's capital.
Israel's ambassador to the U.S. says Lashinsky had just bought an engagement ring and was planning to propose to Milgram during a trip to Jerusalem next week.
We were worried about her going to Israel. The war getting ready to flare up again, but she was killed in D.C.
2 lives tragically cut short by the type of violence they had both worked towards ending. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
The suspect's next scheduled court date is June 18th. Also, the Capitol Jewish Museum is currently closed, though officials say they plan to reopen in the coming days. And still to come, a new study suggests that a child's weight may predict adult obesity and future health risks. Plus, Lindsay returns with another look at your Friday forecast. Well, a homeowner and a truck driver are both okay after a terrifying crash was caught on camera when a dump truck lost control and smashed into a New Jersey home. Jeremy Roth has today's Take a Look at This.
Wild dashcam video from New Jersey shows a first-person perspective of the moment a driver lost control of a dump truck and crashed into a home.
Went through the front yards, never braked, and just right into the house. You hear bam!
Eyewitnesses watched the careening crash unfold firsthand and rushed to the aid of a homeowner trapped inside.
I could hear my neighbor calling for help, screaming for help.
WPVI reports the man was eventually rescued from the rubble with non-life-threatening injuries. The driver, whose employer says suffered a medical emergency behind the wheel, was also safely rescued. The house was not so lucky. Damaged heavily from the crash, what was left was later demolished. More intense POV video, this from a dizzying helicopter rescue of an injured rock climber that unfolded high above a California cliffside. The Riverside County Sheriff's Office Aviation Unit shared the video, saying a climber sustained a limb injury after falling some 30 feet while scaling Lily Rock in Idlewild. Unable to self-rescue, the injury left the climbing party stuck on a rocky outcropping until responders showed up and hoisted the hobbled climber back to safety. Finally, no rescue op was needed for a North Carolina homeowner who sat back from a safe distance watching a family of bears make a day of it in their yard. The homeowner thinks the recent emergence of cicadas in the area may be giving the bears a crunchy critter incentive to visit. After all, climbing trees, playing on swings, and leering into windows like a big old creepster can really work up an appetite. Get a good look there, Yogi? Move it along, weirdo. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Well, those bears sure look like they were having a lot of fun. Now let's head over to Lindsay for a quick look at your forecast.
Well, we have storms starting today. You can see we're in a slight risk for severe weather, mostly in our southwestern counties. That's southwestern Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. Main threats going to be large hail and 78-mile-per-hour winds, and this is starting late tonight around 9-10 p.m. but continuing until about 6 to 7 a.m. in the morning. Now we have a pretty low tornado threat, but all other modes of severe weather are likely. Plus, we also have a flooding risk. But I'm going to have all those details coming up right after this. Well, we do have storms starting tonight, and you can see our slight risk for severe weather moves across central parts of Kansas, northeastern Oklahoma, northwestern Arkansas, and just clipping southwestern Missouri. Now, that does include quite a few of our counties, but our main risks hold off until after 9 p.m. Large hail, 70-mile-per-hour winds, and we also have heavy rain chances. All of this continues, so it's going to be mostly an overnight storm system after about 9-10 p.m., but the heavier chances of rain and strong storms after about 2 a.m. until about 7 a.m. Now, we also have a flood watch that remains in effect until Monday at 7 p.m. for most of our counties, and that's due to the heavy rainfall and flash flooding potential that we could see this weekend. Now, as you're starting your day, you're going to be a little cloudy through the morning hours. Might get a few of these showers, but you can see they're already starting to dissipate as they move closer to our area. So for the most part, we're going to be holding off the rain chances until later on this afternoon. Now, taking a look at downtown Pittsburgh, you can see cloudy skies, but no rain and no fog. So it's overall a good start to our Friday and our Memorial Day weekend. Temperatures are going to be a little bit chillier, down in the mid to lower 50s to start off our day. And again, pretty cloudy to start. Now, winds are light northeast winds, or southeast winds, excuse me. And as we head home for the day, temperatures warm up to the mid 70s, but we are going to start to see rain chances popping up. Now, mostly isolated through the early afternoon hours, which we'll take a look at here in a moment. Now, starting through the morning, again, clouds start to push in, might get an isolated shower or two reach the surface, but most of this is going to hold off until the afternoon. Now, here's about 3:30. We've got an isolated storm wanting to push through southeastern Kansas, maybe making it into Missouri, but then we have more rain chances starting after 10 p.m. Now, you can see it's not as big of a severe threat just yet, but later after midnight, after about 2 a.m., going to start to see clusters of thunderstorms push in. Now, the main threat, the main line of storms comes in closer to about 4 or 5 in the morning. Now, you can see where that bow out segment causes winds gusting up to 70, 75 miles per hour. Now, we all know 70-mile-per-hour winds just as damaging as any tornado can be. These are going to be straight line winds, so this could be a pretty strong system as it pushes in to southeastern Kansas, northeastern Oklahoma. It does clip the Joplin area and then continues to push south out of the area by about 8 to 9 in the morning. Then we have another round of storms coming in later in the afternoon on Saturday. Again, pretty cloudy for the day. By about 5:30, some more thunderstorms push into the area, but again, the severe threat holds off until later in the evening after 11 p.m. and trails over the same area. So we're going to see a lot of heavy rain chances consistently going over our southwestern counties, which does cause up to 6 inches of rain, which we'll look at in a moment. Now, we do have another slight risk for storms again tomorrow in mainly the same area. We're going to have southeastern Kansas, northeastern Oklahoma, and a lot more counties out in southwestern Missouri. Now, the timing is going to be from 3 p.m. to about midnight tomorrow, and we do have another flooding threat mainly Saturday and Sunday, because you can see we get quite a bit of rain accumulation, especially on a weekend. There's a lot of travel going on out there. We could see a lot of roads being closed, especially along and south of I-44, but you can remember how we had some training storms out in southeastern Kansas, northeastern Oklahoma as well. So we are going to see a big flooding threat through the weekend. Storms on Saturday, heavy rainfall, flash flooding all the way through Sunday and Monday. And then finally, we're going to have a little bit of a break starting Tuesday and Wednesday before more rain chances start to kick in as we end our week next week. That's a look at your forecast. Let's go over to Elise with Health Watch.
All right, Lindsay, thanks. Well, a child's body weight could indicate whether they will be at risk for obesity as an adult. A study by the ECHO program tracked children's body mass index and found about 10% of kids saw a rapid increase in their BMI from ages 3.5 to 9. Now, those kids are more likely to be obese as adults, increasing their risk of developing several serious health problems. Motorcycle helmet laws save lives. A study by the American College of Surgeons found in North Carolina, where helmets are mandatory, motorcycle riders experience less severe injuries and are less likely to go to the ICU than in South Carolina, where only riders under 21 have to wear helmets. And while less than half of riders in South Carolina wear helmets, more than 90% wear them in North Carolina. And people tend to trust those who grew up poor over people who grew up rich. A study by the American Psychological Association did an experiment where it gave participants profiles of fictional people and asked who they would trust more with money. Most people believed those who grew up with less money were more moral and trustworthy than people who had a privileged childhood. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 5:30, severe flooding forces a local animal shelter to evacuate again.
And we have storms continuing for the weekend, plus a flooding threat.
Plus, a sculpture honoring Joplin tornado victims is getting a new home and a lasting place in the city's history.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:31. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Lindsay Gaffney.
It's Friday morning here in the 4 states, May 23rd. We're almost finished with this month.
We are just blowing through the year.
We certainly are.
It doesn't help all our rain chances. It does make things feel like it's going by pretty quickly, especially Memorial Day weekend.
I know.
It's such a bummer to know we're going to have a lot of storms, a lot of flooding risks. So we go ahead and dive right in, taking a look. We can see how rain starts to spike after about 1 p.m. through the rest of the evening and into the early Saturday morning hours. Now, storms do continue through the rest of the weekend, even into Memorial Day. Now, today, our threat remains pretty low for tornadoes, but a large hail risk and high winds up to 70 miles per hour. Not to mention, we also have a flooding risk throughout the entire weekend starting tonight. You can see our flood watch extends all the way until about 7 p.m. on Monday. Now, currently, we've got a few clouds pushing in, a few of these showers pushing in as well, though they're starting to dissipate, so we may not see any rain until later on this afternoon. Now you can see how these showers start to push in, at least closer to our area. Might get an isolated shower or two. The rest of us stay pretty cloudy until the mid-afternoon hours. Now storms do start to push back in around 2 to 3 p.m. and then we're going to have widespread scattered thunderstorms later on this evening, with even stronger storms holding off until after midnight tonight. So that is our threat for today. You can see out in our southeastern counties, that's where we're going to see the strongest storms blow through. Now, tomorrow, we have another threat tomorrow night. That's going to begin after about 8, 9 p.m. Another round of storms moving through the south and southeast western counties. Now, our rain amounts, this is where we're going to see the biggest widespread threat for most of us. We could see minimum an inch of rain, but maximum, especially along and south of I-44, plus any areas that these storms train through over the same areas, up to 6.5 inches of rain, even potentially some higher amounts in localized areas. So flooding is going to be a main threat, especially with saturated soils already, and a lot of people are on the road traveling this weekend and around rivers and lakes with already high elevation. So we're going to keep an eye on all of the flooding risks and strong storms this weekend. I'm going to have those details coming up.
All right, Lindsay, thanks. Well, for the second time in nearly a year, Nevada Animal Shelter has had to evacuate due to severe flooding brought this week. The facility was built last year, and city leaders say the issue may be familiar, but the solution isn't. Now, with the facility underwater, staff members say they need to find homes for every animal immediately.
It's quite a dramatic activity, actually, seeing 40 to 50 people inside the animal shelter with water up to their waist and higher, rescuing the animals. Some of the animals even started swimming themselves, head to dry land.
According to Edwards, no animals were hurt in the flooding. And now you can stay up to date with the latest news, weather, and sports with the KOAM Plus TV streaming app. It's available on Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, Apple TV Plus, and Roku. The player is also available on our news and weather apps as well as our website. Watch live streaming anytime, absolutely free, the KOAM Plus TV streaming app. Well, tacos to commemorate the Big 6-0. The Joplin Ozark Center is celebrating its 60th anniversary this year, and staff members yesterday evening decorated and manned a taco bar at the Jasper County Casa for Casa staff and kids. Now, it's one way to give back to a partner organization they've worked with for years.
So I'm on the board of CASA as well as being the CEO of Ozark Center. So CASA is near and dear to my heart. It was a really great event coming up for us in May. They always have lots of really great activities here for the kids. So they really like it when somebody from the community can come in and cook for the kids and serve them dinner at the same time.
Well, Jasper County CASA recruits and trains volunteers to advocate for children in foster care. Well, the Joplin branch of an international nonprofit organization received a healthy grant yesterday. Rafa House got the Joplin Philanthropic Grant for $50,000. The Joplin Regional Community Foundation presented the grant at the nonprofit's 20th Street location. And for the organization, the grant will provide more opportunities to benefit the community.
Now imagine thinking, okay, we need to go get counseling for this, only to realize you can't afford to get counseling to help your child. And so when a family is at their most vulnerable, having the offer of a scholarship to come and receive counseling at no charge to that family will provide such an extreme relief for so many people.
Rafa House is dedicated to providing survivor care, prevention, and hope for victims of human trafficking. A sculpture honoring victims of the 2011 Joplin tornado will have a new permanent home. The Joplin Memorial Run sculpture, created by Active Lifestyle Events, will now reside at the Harry M. Cornell Art and Entertainment Complex. Officials say the piece will continue to serve as a lasting tribute to those lost in the storm.
We kept trying to come up with a date that would be appropriate, so what better way to focus on the lives that were lost during this time, the 161 lives in the tornado. We just thought it was an appropriate day to do so.
The sculpture now stands near 8th Street and Joplin Avenue, the original start and finish line for the race. A piece of Carthage history is shining bright once again. Vision Carthage celebrates the completed restoration of the municipal park mural downtown with a ribbon cutting. Now, the event took place at the corner of Lyon and 4th Street, where the mural sits on the side of the Flanagan Lalsey Moore building. Originally painted in 2006 by John Biggs, the mural features a scene of the old 1938 dance pavilion that now houses the municipal park roller rink. Local artist Cheryl Church took on the commission to restore the artwork. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Over 40 million travelers are starting to hit the road as Memorial Day weekend gets started. We'll see how gas prices could be impacting travel. Plus, Macy's is recalling their Holiday Lane branded infant-footed pajamas over safety concerns. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. In Consumer Watch this morning, the busy Memorial Day travel weekend is underway, and AAA is predicting a record 45.1 million people to travel over the next few days. Now, for more than 39 million expected to hit the roads, prices at the pump are expected to hit a 4-year low, with the national average for unleaded regular gas at $3.19 a gallon. Now, that's down 40 cents compared to last year. Meanwhile, TSA expects to screen 18 million passengers and crew through the middle of next week. They're urging flyers to pack their patience and proper ID with new Real ID requirements in place. And Macy's is recalling more than 16,000 Holiday Lane branded infant-footed pajamas. According to a Consumer Product Safety Commission post, the retailer has gotten at least 4 complaints that elastic around the ankles is too tight and can cause chafing, imprinting, or restriction of blood circulation. Consumers should stop using the recalled pajamas immediately and contact Macy's for a refund. And the Trump administration is making good on its promise to phase out the penny. The U.S. Mint has sent its final order for penny blanks and will stop producing the 1-cent coins when they run out, which is estimated to be sometime early next year. The Treasury Department says the move will save the U.S. Mint about $56 million a year. That's a look at Consumer Watch this morning. Let's head over to Lindsay for a quick look at your forecast.
Well, we have storms pushing in starting today. We've got a slight risk for severe weather through our southwestern counties. And we also are under a flood watch until Monday, 7 p.m. I'll have the details right after this.
Agriculture will play a prominent role in this weekend's Indy 500. Details in today's Ag Day Minute.
I'm Clinton Griffiths with today's Ag Day Minute. Cotton may be a king crop in the South, but USDA says this year expects farmers to plant fewer acres of the crop, bringing it to its lowest level in 10 years. Now, it released this map in the Southwest, which includes Texas. It continues to hold the largest share of total acreage, but it's also seeing the largest decline, with lower prices encouraging a shift to corn and sorghum. While in the Southeast, cotton is also expected to decline, with acreage shifting to corn and peanuts. Well, nationally, cotton planting is running behind, with 40% now in the ground. Look to see 2 Indiana dairy producers in the winner's circle at this year's 109th running of the Indy 500. This year's veteran milk person is Abby Herr, a producer from Kendallville. She will be the one handing a bottle of milk to the winning driver in victory circle. And this year's rookie milk person is Ashley Stockwell. She's a dairy producer from Steuben County, and she will also hand a bottle of milk to the winning driver's chief mechanic. And a new tradition at the Speedway on Friday, the Weenie 500. It marks the first meetup of all 6 Wienermobiles in over a decade. In this first of its kind spectacle in racing, the fleet will haul buns around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Each Wienermobile will represent a different regional dog that you can cheer on, including my favorite, the chili dog, representing the South. For more Ag News, watch Ag Day weekdays on the station or get updates over at agweb.com.
Let's head over now to Lindsay for a full look at your forecast.
Well, we're going to start to see storms popping up later on this afternoon and evening. You can see we've got a slight risk for storms, again, mostly in our southwestern counties. Now, storms start after about 9 p.m. and continue until early morning on Saturday, all the way to about 6 or 7 in the morning. We've got a large hail threat and strong winds up to 70 miles per hour. Those are going to be straight line winds, which can cause trees to blow down and a lot of damage to homes. Now, we also have a flood watch. That's going to be in effect until Monday, 7 p.m. So our flooding risk does start today, but continues all through the weekend. Now, currently, we've got a few clouds pushing through. Might get an isolated shower or two trying to pop up there from some showers and thunderstorms off to our west, but most of this is just going to pass us by. Now, you can see, taking a look at downtown Pittsburgh, we've got a lot of clouds moving out there, though sun is starting to come up. So as you're heading through your day, temperatures are going to be in the mid to lower 50s. Pretty cloudy again to start our morning off. We've got a light breeze out of the southeast. Now, temperatures do warm up through the afternoon, mid 70s, slightly below average, but still not too bad. And then we're going to start to see isolated showers and thunderstorm chances popping up by this afternoon. Now, as we head through the morning hours, you can see we've got those clouds. We do have a bit of a break in the clouds through midday today, and then later on this afternoon, this is about 3:30, isolated thunderstorm starts to push into southeastern Kansas, but more widespread thunderstorms hold off until later this evening after about 9 p.m. Now, our severe threat is after midnight. You can see this is 3 a.m. We've got those clusters of thunderstorms pushing in, but this is where we're going to see that main wind threat. You can see how it bows out, line of storms. That bowing out segment does cause a significant straight line wind threat. We're going to see winds gusting 70, 75 miles per hour. That's all the way from southeastern Kansas, northeastern Oklahoma, clipping the Joplin area and then moving out to the south towards Arkansas. Once all that clears out, we're going to have a break through the morning hours on Saturday, but more storms do start to roll back in later in the afternoon. You can see it's about 5 p.m. Some showers and thunderstorms push in. These aren't going to be as strong until we get into the later night hours, evening hours after, again, 9 p.m. We're going to see more strong isolated storms pushing into the area. Now, our threat for tomorrow, that severe threat, does stay pretty similar to what we're seeing today. We've got a slight risk for storms. It does extend a little bit further into the Missouri side, but basically the same area. We're going to have training storms moving through southeastern Kansas, southwestern Missouri, northeastern Oklahoma, and Arkansas. Timing again is after 3 p.m. until early morning hours on Sunday, and then we're going to have a flooding threat for the rest of the weekend. Saturday and Sunday, the main threat is going to be flooding. However, we could expect other modes of severe weather possible, all modes of severe weather possible through the weekend. But you can see by Sunday night, most of us at least going to see about an inch of rain, but a lot of us could get up to 6.5 inches of rain. So with saturation, with soil already saturated and rivers and lakes already pretty high in elevation, we're going to see a potential for flooding and flash flooding through this holiday weekend because we're going to have a lot of chances of rain, especially at night. These continue all the way until Memorial Day, Monday. Temperatures are a little bit cooler as well by Monday. We finally have a little bit of a break Tuesday and Wednesday before more storms start to push back in Wednesday night all the way through Friday. But next weekend does look clear, so we might have light at the end of the tunnel. That's Look at Your Forecast. Let's go over to Elise with sports.
All right, Lindsay, thanks. Well, one of the signs that summer has turned in the 4 states is Joplin Outlaws baseball. And last night was the 2025 season opener at Joe Becker Stadium. Joplin is defending Mid-America League champion. Well, Missouri Southern got Cole Gaiman on the mound for the Outlaws opening night against the Fort Smith Marshals, and he's sharp already, picking up a strikeout for a 1-2-3 top of the first. Now in the bottom of the inning, the Outlaws have a runner on first. Maverick Williamson shatters his bat, and the Marshals turn the double play to end the inning. Now this one's a pitcher's duel in the 5th. Both teams are hitless. Gaiman gets another punch out. Runner tries to steal second. He's safe, but the ump calls a batter interference, so make it a double play. Bottom of the 5th, Merkel Turner lines one through the infield, and the Outlaws get their first hit of the day. But Joplin fails to bring him home. And the 6th, the Marshals line one into center, and Turner dives and makes the catch to maintain the no-hitter. Gaiman goes 7 2-round innings. The Outlaws finally score in the 6th and take down the Marshals 1-0 in the home opener. Meanwhile, up in Warrensburg, Missouri, Pittsburgh State baseball begins its best-of-3 Super Regional Series against MIAA rival Central Missouri. Game 1 was yesterday afternoon. The Gorillas lose a tight 7-5 final score. They scored the first 2 runs of the game in the top of the first inning. UCM responded with 5 unanswered. PSU then tied it up at 5 before the Mules score 2 in the bottom of the 8th. The Gorillas face elimination this afternoon. And high school baseball playoffs roll along in our area as well. Over in Missouri, Carl Junction baseball shuts out Raytown South 5-0 in the Class 5 District 7 semifinals. Bulldogs starting pitcher Cooper DeVix throws a no-hitter and strikes out 16, and Webb City beats Belton 3-2. Brock Renfro hits a wall-off single in the bottom of the 7th inning to seal the victory. CJ and Webb will meet in the district title game tomorrow. That's Look at Sports. We'll be right back. Well, around 30% of Americans use tarot cards, astrology, or fortune tellers once each year. Pew Research Center looked at data from almost 10,000 people across the U.S. The survey indicated that about 2 in 10 adults engage in at least one of these practices just for fun. 1 in 10 say they receive helpful insights, and around 1% say they rely on these practices a lot to make major life decisions. Market research firm Ibis World determined that last year alone, this industry generated around $2 billion in revenue. Well, how about a penny for your thoughts? Today is National Lucky Penny Day. Finding a penny became associated with good luck back when it was considered a more valuable find due to the copper metal. According to superstition, finding a penny head face up is lucky, and if it's tails up, you should turn it over and leave it for the next person to find.
Well, unfortunately, we didn't get any good luck with our forecast for Memorial Day weekend. You can see we've got storms starting tonight, continuing Saturday night and Sunday, plus even into Memorial Day on Monday. We're going to have main threats, hail, wind, might get an isolated tornado threat here or there through the weekend, especially Saturday night. But across the board, flooding risks are going to be our main concern over the weekend, especially with a lot of people traveling on the roads. We're going to see flooding continuing all the way through Monday. We've got a flood watch until 7 p.m. on Monday. A little bit of a break there Tuesday and Wednesday before more rain starts to push back in Wednesday night through Friday.